Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Lowe's is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin. Some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
With Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Bruce, sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
Like it's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. And again, I get that feeling that he just is there.
Jake Paul's latest strategic move involves bringing in Shakur Stevenson as a sparring partner. Ahead of his highly anticipated fight with Gervonta Davis, Paul revealed that Stevenson personally expressed interest in joining his training camp, adding a major boost to his preparation. He explained that his team has assembled several skilled southpaws fighters smaller than him, but experienced enough to provide the right in-ring challenges. What makes this development intriguing is that there was no prior connection between Paul and Stevenson. Still, Paul believes that working with Shakur and other quality partners will sharpen his timing, defense, and adaptability as he prepares to face one of the sport's most explosive fighters.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Lowe's is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin. Some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Some analysts, however, have raised eyebrows over the sudden partnership between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, calling it both unusual and suspicious. They argue that Stevenson might have taken on the role for financial reasons, similar to how Jaron Boots Ennis assisted Canelo Alvarez in his training for Terence Crawford. While Boots had a family history and established ties with Canelo, Stevenson has no personal or professional connection to Jake Paul. This has led many observers to believe that Paul may have offered Stevenson a lucrative financial package to secure his involvement. The arrangement has therefore sparked debate over whether Stevenson's decision was driven more by business than by boxing passion, as the collaboration represents a surprising link between two fighters from entirely different worlds.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Bruce, sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's just a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
Addressing the growing speculation, Shakur Stevenson has spoken publicly about the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup. He explained that if he were in Tank's position, he would view the fight from two angles. From a business standpoint, it makes perfect sense due to the massive financial upside and publicity. Yet, from a pure fighter's perspective, Stevenson admitted he personally would not take such a bout. His comments highlight the divide between boxing as a sport and boxing as a business. While some critics question his motives for joining Paul's camp, Stevenson was transparent in admitting that financial opportunities often influence such decisions. He emphasized that modern boxing frequently blurs the line between competitive integrity and entertainment value.
Can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that.
Okay.
It just depends, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So, as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity,
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made.
During the official press conference, tensions erupted when Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis came face to face. The two fighters exchanged words before shoving each other, creating immediate buzz across social media. However, many analysts believe the altercation was more promotional than personnel, a calculated move to generate headlines and hype. In today's boxing scene, such confrontations are often designed to go viral and boost pay-per-view sales. The shove between Paul and Tank adds drama to the storyline, framing the matchup as both a spectacle and a serious athletic contest. The narrative pits a larger, physically imposing fighter against a smaller, more technically gifted opponent, guaranteeing intrigue for fans and casual viewers alike.
Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Kiso was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves, still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch, and there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit.
Despite the entertainment-heavy promotion, boxing insiders insist that Gervonta Davis is approaching this fight with full seriousness. Observers have noted his intense focus, disciplined demeanor, and body language in training, all signaling that Tank is locked in. For Davis, this fight offers more than just money. It's a chance to capture massive mainstream attention. Experts caution that Jake Paul must not underestimate Tank the way he once seemed to underestimate older or exhibition opponents like Mike Tyson. Unlike those matchups, Davis is a prime, active champion with knockout power and aggression. If Paul treats this challenge lightly, analysts warn, the consequences could be severe. Tank's camp makes it clear that he intends to defend boxing's credibility while collecting the rewards that come with victory.
In the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man. Because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all, However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash. Like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult has taken a strong position on what a Tank Davis victory would represent. He argues that if Tank defeats Jake Paul, he would become a hero to both the boxing community and casual fans. Many have long awaited the moment when Paul's rise from YouTuber to main event boxer meets a definitive end. Showbiz believes that Tank's win would symbolize the triumph of boxing skill and tradition over entertainment-driven spectacle. Beyond the result itself, a knockout victory would elevate Davis's image as the man who restored pride to the sport by humbling Jake Paul. In essence, the fight carries a cultural dimension. Tank represents the spirit of authentic boxing, while Paul embodies the modern blend of celebrity and competition that defines today's fight game.
Tank Davis stops. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it. Help you up. Help you up. See about it. Help you up. Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lifer. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him bandy legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's that. You guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close. But there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua kicked his
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was like, now get out of it.